My beloved child, I speak to you. You have been chosen, not because of the trophies you carefully gathered, nor for the applause or the lights that once warmed your eyes. This choice comes from the hidden place, from the heart of the one who knows every hair on your head, every moment you force a smile through weariness, and every tear you hide in the dark. Your name has just been spoken in the courts of heaven, not to be condemned, but to receive the inheritance sealed long ago. The scroll bearing the mark of grace is opened, and at its head a gentle yet decisive stroke has written your name encircled by the radiance of mercy. There are moments when human ears hear only silence, yet heaven stirs with movement. The hinges of a door, not built by human hands, breathe softly. The scent of dawn glides across the stones, and my tender yet majestic presence quietly cloaks your dwelling like a garment woven of peace. Tomorrow morning, when the first light touches your face, the unseen will begin to move. The wheels once thought rusted will turn again. The cords that bound your heart too tightly will loosen. The paths covered by dust will reveal each guiding stone. Do not fear what you do not yet understand. Do not call the unfamiliar unease. Listen carefully. Beside that door stands the Archangel Michael, guardian in flame yet gentle, as wind his hand upon a sword that flashes like lightning, his gaze piercing through every scheme of darkness. The thieves of the Spirit cannot cross the threshold marked by the blood of the covenant. Every accusation fades into the air, for here a new song has arisen, the song of forgiveness, of righteousness, draped over your shoulders like a cloak of warmth through the night. Do not mistake this for spectacle. True works of endurance are born in silence. Like a seed hidden beneath the earth, unseen, wrapped in darkness and dampness that seem to choke life, yet in truth, it is the womb of new creation. So too the miracle meant for you now sprouts in an atmosphere without drums. Your name is proclaimed in the heavens, and the earth replies with trembling tiny vibrations as history itself shifts direction under a decree of release. I hear them ask you, "What happened?" And you will smile with calm eyes and say, "The Lord made a way. For I have spoken, and when I speak, my word never returns void." My child, do not measure timing by the ticking of human clocks. I make all things beautiful in their appointed season. Some doors turn only by the key of obedience. Some corridors light up only when you take a single honest step. Let my gentle certainty become your second heartbeat, steady, unhurried, and unbroken. When fear knocks, remember, this door is not locked by panic, so fear has no key to enter. When doubt raises its voice, answer with stillness. Peace does not argue, it simply stands, and in that standing the enemy is silenced. I call you out from the land of holding on into the land of being held. From here you will relearn the word enough, in a new rhythm, enough to stop worrying, enough to open wide, enough to give freely, without fear of lack. I did not lead you through the storm to return you to an empty shore. I brought you into a calm bay where your boat will be mended, your sail patched, and a new flag of joy will be raised. Do not rush to fireworks or search for bright lights. Sit down, pour yourself a cup of water, and let silence fill your chest. You will recognize the miracle not only when mountains move or seas part, but in smaller wonders, eyelids lighter after long nights. A deep breath no longer caught a thought that used to bind you, finally releasing you like a bird unclasping from the sky. Behind these subtle shifts are my hands tuning the instrument of your soul, so when you speak, your voice no longer cracks but harmonizes. When you walk, your steps no longer race out of fear of delay, but move steadily in trust that you are never late. I have not forgotten the nights you whispered, "Lord, I'm tired and afraid." I count each tear not to store sorrow but to record seeds. Every drop falls into a field called hope. Rain is coming, and the grain will bow to you not by luck but by the holy law that has been activated in the unseen. From the throne I have issued, the decree chains of delay must break, slander must fall silent, the windows of heaven must open, and the lamp in your house must burn bright without the help of wind. Michael stands at the threshold, not to intimidate, but to fight in your stead against battles you no longer need to fight. You no longer have to wrestle with the lock already turned to open, nor carry the weight of a door too heavy for your shoulders. Your calling now is simple yet profound. Keep your heart soft before my word, your gaze straight ahead, your hands clean, and your steps steady in the footprints of your guide. If you seek a sign, let peace in your chest be the proof. This peace is not a silk covering over ice nor a sugar rush of emotion. It is quiet, warm, enduring. It makes your words fewer but truer, your work less showy but more fruitful, your love silent yet strong enough to comfort the weary beside you. You will sense a shift in the appetite of your soul, less hunger for noise, more thirst for depth, less desire to win by reason, more longing to win by grace. And there, in that turning point, you will understand miracles are not only when things change, but when you become the kind of person who can keep what I give without losing yourself. I clothe you in righteousness, not for display, but for warmth. I open doors not for you to run, but to walk. I make your name known, not for pride, but to remind you, you are not forgotten. From this threshold, call your name as one awakened from a heavy dream, clear light and wise. Look around your home, not to count what is missing, but to recognize the traces of my hand, a letter of comfort that arrived on time, a debt of the heart forgiven, a quiet reconciliation that healed more than words could. You will smile, realizing that these small things are the edges of a grand tapestry I am weaving. I am teaching you to read the language of signs, so that you no longer chase thunder, for many times heaven whispers through a gentle breeze. From now on, guard your mouth as one guards a lamp. Do not proclaim too quickly what I am still shaping in the secret room. Do not let impatient words wound tender sprouts still wet with dew. When the time comes, the flower will bloom. When the season arrives, the harvest will ripen, and then the fruit itself will speak louder than any argument. Step forward to the threshold. Place your hand on the door handle, warming beneath your touch, and breathe slowly. Lord, I am here. I hear you. I am near. I have spoken, and I am doing what I have spoken. You are not left behind in a long hallway. You are being welcomed into a room where light spreads evenly. The table is set. The chair bears your name, and at the head of the table, I smile. Step in. This is not a sweet illusion. It is the reality of covenant. And as the noise behind you fades away, you will begin to sense a new rhythm, the rhythm of a heart that knows it has been chosen, kept and sent, not to display miracles, but to carry living miracles to souls grown cold. At this threshold, you need nothing to make yourself more worthy. You need only to open your heart. For the hardest part, the one no one can do for you, is to say yes, and you already have, even if only in a whisper. I heard it, and heaven responded. My child, this is the final test, not an examination to measure your worthiness, but an invitation for your faith to find its rightful place between the darkness not yet lifted and the light not yet risen. Every true miracle must pass through a silent valley, for only in that stillness can the soul discern the tone of trust. I have seen you bow your head to pray and look up to the sky without seeing a sign. I know that feeling when faith seems like a lamp with barely a drop of oil left, and hope is just a faint streak of light flickering in the storm. But beloved, when all outer evidence falls silent, it is then that inner faith finds its voice. I do not test you to make you fall. I give you the chance to discover the strength of what I planted long ago, the strength of faithfulness. Do you remember Abraham? He heard my call, left his land and family behind, though he did not know where he was going. He was not given a map, only my word, and that was enough. Like him, you stand in the desert of waiting, yet every grain of sand beneath your feet is being used to etch your name into the story of covenant. Look at Mary, the young maiden chosen to bear the Savior. She did not argue or demand proof. She simply said, "Let it be to me according to your word." Her test was silence before the incomprehensible, and yours is the same to believe, while others doubt to walk, while the path remains veiled in mist, to stay calm while the world trembles. I do not seek perfection. I seek faithfulness. When you cannot see me yet still obey, that is when you are closest to me. Do not fear when I tell you to keep hidden the private miracle forming within you. Some seeds can only sprout in covered soil, and if exposed too soon to the harsh sunlight of curiosity, they wither. Do not seek others to confirm what I have already affirmed in your spirit. The time for unveiling has not yet come. This is the hour of stillness. When I prepare a great blessing, I often hide my chosen ones in what seems like obscurity, not to conceal but to protect. Moses was hidden for years in the wilderness before he parted the sea. Joseph was confined in prison before he guarded the storehouses of a nation. My silence is not abandonment. It is the furnace where my plan gathers warmth. Take heart, my child. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. When you see no waves, it is because the undercurrent is pushing powerfully beneath the surface. This final test does not lie in outward action, but in an inner decision. Will you choose to trust when there is nothing left to cling to except my word? Will you guard your heart from bitterness in the waiting? Will you continue to pray, not to compel me to answer, but to keep your soul connected to mine? If you can, it is not by your own strength, but because my grace has become power within your weakness. And when you overcome it, you will understand why I told you to keep silent, because some miracles can only endure when preserved in a heart that is grateful and quiet. Believe not with the blind faith of fear, but with the trust of one who knows they are held. Close your eyes and step forward, for I am the light beneath your feet. Offer me each restless thought, for I will turn them into rest. Do not strain to predict what comes next. Only remember that I have never missed an appointed time. When you hear nothing but the beating of your own heart, know that it is my rhythm guiding your steps. This test is not meant to prove your failure, but to reveal that the seed of faith I planted in you has taken root, and soon it will bloom. My beloved, when this trial closes, you will see I never wanted you to prove anything. I wanted you to discover who was walking with you. And then you will lift your eyes to heaven, smile, and whisper, I am still here, and you are still faithful. Beloved, this moment no longer belongs to waiting, it has been activated. I have spoken, and the decree of release has been signed by my own hand. On the scrolls of heaven where light never fades, your name has been inscribed in letters of fire, sealed by the covenant no power can erase. Every delay has been revoked, every chain broken, every hidden curse of the past dissolved under the authority of my word. From this day forward, you are no longer confined to the shadowed realm of waiting. You are stepping into the light of fulfillment. When I declare, let my child go, heaven and earth tremble. That word does not thunder. It flows like wind, permeating every layer of the atmosphere around you, stirring what no human eye can see. The angels have been dispatched around your dwelling. They hold in their hands the torches of covenant, illuminating every corner where darkness once hid. Know this, my child, I am at work, not someday soon, but now. From the high throne I have seen every place where your soul became tangled. The corner of the room where you sat silently through the night, the tear you wiped away before anyone could notice, and the prayers that stopped halfway because your heart had no more strength. I have gathered all those fragments, laid them upon the scales of grace, and I decree, enough. Now is the time for restoration. The restoration I have prepared is unlike anything you have known. It will not come like a sudden storm, but like a river rising quietly through the night, seeping into the soil, softening the hardened ground of disappointment. My child, do not be surprised if tomorrow you awaken lighter, your mind quieter, and an unfamiliar peace settles over you. like dawn mist. That is the command of release, already moving through the deepest layers of your soul. I have sent the Archangel Michael to stand guard at your doorway, not as a symbol but in power. He stands between heaven and earth, sword in hand, cutting every unseen covenant that once bound your life to cycles of fear. From the moment that decree was spoken, every force that opposed you, whether in thought or in spirit, was compelled to withdraw. No darkness is thick enough to hide what I have illuminated. No chain is strong enough to restrain what I have released. The quiet fears that once made your steps uncertain will dissolve like mist before morning light. You will find yourself no longer trembling when speaking of your dreams. Your mouth will declare again the things you once feared to mention. I am restoring not only what you lost, but the trust you had in yourself. In past years you thought my silence meant absence, yet in truth I was arranging the board. Some pieces cannot be set in place until the old ones are cleared, and that often requires stillness. I never abandon you in silence. I clear the path so that when my voice speaks, it will not be drowned by noise. When you believed everything had stopped, my hands were still turning the wheel. Like a potter shaping clay that remains soft, I have been molding you through every waiting moment. Now the form is ready, and I say, rise. As Lazarus stepped out of the tomb after 4 days, so shall you step out from the dimness of your former season. The bonds that once restrained you hold no power now, for where my spirit is, there is freedom. I've seen the years you lived in just enough mode, enough breath, to keep working, enough strength, not to fall, enough faith, not to give up. But I did not create you to survive. I created you to live abundantly. The blessing I pour out will not merely restore, it will overflow. You will no longer just dream of peace. You will taste it. My abundance is not limited to your wallet or your table. It fills your mind, your words, your very breath. When others panic, you will remain calm. When the world grasps and hoards, you will learn to give freely. For the true command of release is not only to remove shackles from the wrists, but to free the soul from the fear of scarcity. Look again at the places you once called hopeless: a broken relationship, a missed opportunity, a door slammed shut. I am using each of those fragments to build a staircase. Every disappointment is no longer failure, but material for rebuilding. From this day forward, change how you see what others call an obstacle, you will call a stepping stone. What they see as a dead end, you will see as a turn toward the main road. For I am already at the end of that road waiting for you. None can hinder the one I lead. Remember, I do not only make the way, I am the way. I do not merely give peace, I am peace. You do not need to understand every step, only to keep walking. I have covered your family under a dome of protection. Every prayer you have whispered for them has been carefully recorded. You may not see the fruit yet, but the seeds are sprouting in the soil. I am working where you cannot see, within the hearts of those you love, in circumstances that seem far beyond reach. When the time ripens, you will witness harmony. Where there was division, laughter. Where there were tears and warmth. Where there was once invisible cold. Your household will become sacred ground, not guarded by fences, but by my presence itself. The command of release is not only for you. When one is set free, they carry the key for many. When I loosened the chains from your hands, I entrusted you with the mission to unlock others. You will speak with compassion, touch with healing love, with a heart once broken. The wounds of the past will no longer be meaningless scars. They will become living testimonies that I have healed you. People will look at you and recognize my power, not because you shine for your own sake, but because I have made you radiant in quiet grace. Like Moses, your face will reflect a light you do not even know you carry. Do not fear when I change the order of things in your life. I may move some people, close certain doors, and open new paths. This is not loss, it is restructuring. Like a gardener pruning dry branches so the tree may bear sweeter fruit, I am trimming what no longer serves life. Trust the hand that holds the shears. For when I cut, I do not destroy. I make room for what is better to grow. From now on, walk in peace, for this command of release is not an event, but a way of living. Each morning as you wake, remind yourself, I am living in the freedom of God. That freedom will calm your mind, heal your body, and renew how you see yourself. And when night falls before you close your eyes, remember my words today. I have spoken and it is done. Though the world outside may still be noisy within you, there will be another rhythm, the rhythm of one who has been set free. You will sleep in peace, and when morning opens your eyes, the first light you see will remind you, I am still here, still moving, still protecting, still guiding. You need no more miraculous signs, for the truest miracle is already within your breath. I am the one making all things new. I have begun, and I will complete it. Now stand tall, lift your head, and walk forward. For this is your appointed time, the season of release, of freedom, of favor. When you walk, the ground will be steady. When you speak, your words will carry power. When you pray, heaven will open. And when people ask what happened, smile and say, my God has spoken, and He has done it. My beloved child, there are doors invisible to human eyes, yet resounding open in the realm of the Spirit. These are doors I have built myself, not found on any human map, nor existing in the clever plans of the flesh. They are not made of wood or iron, but of my word. They are not opened with mechanical keys, but with obedience. I have prepared such a door for you, a passage measured precisely to the rhythm of your heartbeat and the length of your stride. No one else can cross this threshold in your place, for this door recognizes only the mark I have set upon you. Above it, your name is engraved in ink that only angels can read, and each time you draw near, all of heaven stirs in joyful anticipation. From afar, it may seem to you like a wall, cold, solid, unyielding. But my child, behind what appears to be obstruction lies the secret architecture of grace. I have hidden the door within the wall so that only those who walk by faith may find it. The one who sees with natural sight will stop, but the one who steps with faith will see the wall part. I did this not to test you, but to protect what is precious. For if all could see it, they would fight for it. But when you discover it by faith, you will guard it with gratitude. The door I open does not echo loudly, yet the heavens rise in reverence when it moves. Not every open door comes from me, and not every closed door is from the enemy. Some doors I close out of mercy because I know what lies beyond would crush you. Some paths I block not to disappoint you, but to preserve your calling. I see the whole map, while you see only a corner. Therefore do not grieve over doors that remain shut. I am leading you to the right door, the one you will not need to force, because it will open with a breath. When the time is right, your mere touch will make the hinges sing with the sound of release. This door, my child, was crafted by my own hands. The hands that laid the heaven's foundation, stretched the horizon, and called the stars each by name. As I said to the church of Philadelphia in Revelation, I have set before you an open door that no one can shut, for you have little strength, yet you have kept my word. Revelation 3:8. That word was not only for them, it was for you. For you who have kept faith when weary, believed when seeing nothing, and prayed when silence stretched long. It is this faithfulness that becomes the key turning my door open. When I open a door, not only does the space around you shift, but the inner landscape of your mind is reshaped. The limits that once bound your thinking will fall away. The memories that made you afraid to begin again will fade. You will see that the true boundaries were never outside, but within the way you viewed yourself. I am opening not just doors of opportunity, but doors of awareness, of spirit, of freedom. You will realize you are not as small as the world once told you. You are not defined by failure, but by the word I have inscribed into your very bones. You are mine. As you cross this threshold, Those words will resound within you like a song of covenant between heaven and earth. I have already prepared the path beyond this door. It is not a road strewn with roses, but it is a straight path of peace. There may be no applause, but there will be light. It may not glitter, but it will be right. I do not lead you where crowds cheer. I lead you where purpose is rediscovered. There every small act carries eternal weight. Every breath becomes an offering of worship. As you walk this way, you will sense the company of angels, not as a dream, but as an unseen strength, steadying each step. Do not fear if the door I open does not look like the one you expected. At times, I hide the extraordinary within the ordinary. You may not hear fireworks nor see radiant flashes, perhaps only a chance encounter, a quiet idea, a gentle prompting. But as you follow it, you will recognize it as the very door I promised. Just as Elisha saw Elijah's mantle fall and knew a new era had begun, so will you perceive the sign meant for you. Be sensitive enough to recognize my whisper among the many sounds. Be still enough to catch my breath amid the world's movement. For this door does not open by might, but by the subtle strength of faith. And when you step through, remember to bow in gratitude. What I give is not to make you walk proudly, but to clothe you in humility. Humility keeps the door open. Pride will close it again. You are called not only to receive, but to serve. The open door is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of your mission. From that threshold, you will see others still searching, and you will understand why I made you wait so long, so that when your door opens, you would have compassion enough not to shut it behind you. My child, the door I open for you is the proof that my promises never grow old. They are alive, breathing, and moving through the currents of your life. You thought you were lost, but you were only being led through lands where I needed to plant seed. Now the harvest has come. Draw near, place your hand upon the handle, and take a deep breath. Let your worries fall to the ground and whisper, Lord, I believe. When you speak those words, the door will open, not just in your circumstances, but within your soul. And as light floods in, you will understand I crafted this way for you, from the beginning of time, waiting only until you were steady enough to step through. My beloved, the miracle I have prepared for you does not drift aimlessly through the skies nor scatter like the wind. It has an exact address marked with your name, your journey, and the tears only I have counted. Heaven does not deliver blessings to the wrong door. Every prayer you have whispered, whether broken or trembling, has been stored in the vault of covenant. You may forget, but I never do. I have marked each one with a heavenly seal, and at the appointed hour, I send my angels to unseal it, releasing the answer to the right place, the right person, the right moment. Not sooner, not later. Some may look around and say, why do others receive before me? But my child, my blessings are not divided like slices of bread. They are forged uniquely for each soul. Every miracle has its own design, like a key shaped perfectly for its lock. What fits another may not fit you. If I delivered the wrong gift, it would weigh you down rather than lift you. So I wait until your heart is soft enough to receive rightly what I give. Every delay of heaven is a hidden protection. Just as a jeweler does not set the gem until the band is finely polished, I too wait until your heart is wide enough to hold the blessing without losing it. My child, your miracle is not one among many. It is the only one. It bears the fingerprints of your soul, the rhythm of your faith, and the fragrance of your journey. No one else can receive it on your behalf, and no one can steal it. Even when the enemy tries, they can only watch from afar, unable to touch what has been sealed with my mark of protection. Just as the doors of Israelite homes were covered with the Lamb's blood on the night of Passover, everything that belongs to you has been marked by the sign of the new covenant, the blood of the Lamb. Death may pass by but cannot enter. Fear may see but must retreat. Lack may approach but must withdraw. For when a life is sealed by me, no power can unlock it unless I allow it. Do not search the skies for signs while the proof already dwells in your heart. There are confirmations I do not send through thunder or lightning, but through a strange and holy calm that flows across your chest. That peace is the signal that the miracle has been released. When your heart is still, it is because heaven's wind has begun to move. This peace is not a fragile feeling, it is the deep assurance that all things are now in motion. For peace is my language and faith is the frequency you must tune to in order to hear it. Do not demand to see before you believe. Believe and you will see. Those who grasp this principle can walk on water and not sink, for they know the waves must obey the word I speak. You once thought miracles arrived in dazzling bursts of glory, yet more often they come with the quiet footsteps of small, ordinary things. A door opening at the perfect time, a word from a stranger, a call you never expected. Do not dismiss what seems random or small. These are the lines of language I use to write your answer. As Elijah was fed by ravens, as the widow of Zarephath found her jar of flour never empty, I still work through the simplest means. Do not wait for grandeur, recognize me in the gentle. When you give thanks in what seems little, you open the gate for what is great. But when you despise the small, the great remains closed. Understand this, no prayer is wasted. No sigh falls into emptiness. Every one of them gathers into the tapestry of the miracle I am weaving for you. Each delay, each stumble, each midnight tear contributes to the symphony of my reply. And when the hour comes, every scattered note will merge into one melody, and you will stand in awe. How could everything fit together so perfectly? Because I have drafted the map of your life before you were born. Every turn has purpose. Every fall carries a lesson. Every seeming loss is making way for something greater to arrive. Do not compare your miracle to another's. You do not know the nights they endured in silence, or the weight they bear to keep their blessing. Each person has their season. As the stars rise at different hours, blessings unfold according to the time appointed for each soul. I have not forgotten your hour. When it comes, heaven itself will open automatically. No one can cut in line and no one can stand in your way. For I am not only the God of all people, I am your God. You are mine alone, and I know every corridor of your soul. When a miracle is addressed, it carries its own journey toward the right destination. It may have to pass through many barriers, your own doubt, the criticism of others, the test of waiting. But trust this as a sealed letter carried by angels, it will not be lost. It travels with priority delivery. Once I give the command, no force can intercept it. You do not need to chase the miracle, for it is already racing toward you. Like a ship bound by divine navigation, my favor is moving your way at the speed of purpose. You ask me, how will I know when it comes? Look at the fruit within, when restlessness fades and peace takes its place, when fear turns to expectation, when the voice inside no longer whispers, if but begins to say, when that is the sign. Miracles rarely crash in. They bloom layer by layer like dawn unfolding across the horizon. I let the light rise gradually so your eyes can adjust to glory. If I made the sun burst all at once, you would be blinded and lose your way. So I let it grow gently so you won't fear, and so you can recognize me in every stage, not just in the outcome. When you begin to sense the miracle taking shape, guard this sacred secret until I tell you to speak. Many miracles die young because they are dragged into the light too soon. Do not rush to announce it. Do not seek human approval. True blessing needs no audience. Simply lift your eyes in quiet gratitude and keep doing what I have taught you. Grace is best preserved in humility. When the time comes, the fruit will speak for itself. When I bless, I do not bless halfway. I do not give in portion, I give in overflow. I do not touch one corner, I restore the whole. Be at peace. No one can receive what I have destined for you, and you cannot mistakenly receive what belongs to another. The miracle has an address. and that address is your soul, where faith and love have met. Keep your heart pure, your lips thankful, and your eyes fixed on me. For once I speak the word go, that word will not return void. The miracle has already departed. It is on its way, and when it arrives, you will not need an explanation. Your soul will simply know, this is the goodness of my God. My child, I have seen the years when you clung to hope like a drowning soul clutching a broken plank in the storm. Every morning you woke with trembling hands and weary eyes, yet still chose to live one more day. I saw it. And I want you to know those years of mere survival were not in vain. They trained your spirit to discern what is real from what is shadow. They taught you that blessing is not in possessions, but in breath itself, in the sacred grace of waking to another dawn and still being able to feel love. You thought you were merely holding on, but in my eyes you were being refined as golden fire, as a seed buried deep waiting for rain. Now I declare, enough, my child. The season of survival has ended. You were not created to live forever, dodging hunger, fear, and lack. You were created to walk in green pastures and beside still waters, as I promised in Psalm 23. I am your shepherd. I do not give you only escape, I give you rest. Not merely a shelter for the night, but a land anointed for peace, where your soul no longer strains to be enough, but learns to rest in abundance. Abundance is not a number. It is a state of spirit, unshackled from fear. When your heart stops counting what is missing, it naturally opens to receive what is new. Beloved, survival teaches you to count each drop of rain. Abundance teaches you to raise your hands and welcome the storm. Survival teaches you to cling. Abundance teaches you to release. Survival made you think I was far. Abundance will help you see I was near all along. I did not come to watch you stumble in the dark. I came to place a lamp in your hand so you could walk without fear. You no longer have to chase blessings, for blessings are now pursuing you. As I have promised, surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. Psalm 2, 3, 6. When you believe that you will cease striving, cease proving, and begin living as one chosen, not in desperate hope but in holy certainty. My beloved child, abundance begins when you stop living by instinct and start living by faith. Instinct makes you hoard, faith moves you to give. Instinct whispers, if you give, you will lack, but faith answers, if you give, I will multiply. Abundance is not measured by an account balance, but by the breadth of the heart. The one who has much yet dares not share is still poor. The one who has little yet still gives is already rich. My child, I have seen the times you shared, though you yourself had no surplus. I have seen you intercede for others while you were still waiting for your own answer. In those very moments, you were sowing into the treasury of abundance that I am now opening. Abundance does not arrive in a day. It is formed by small choices of faith, by each time you choose. Trust over fear, gratitude over resentment, and waiting on me over acting from impatience. I do not bless halfway. When I bless, I finish the work. I do not heal a part and leave the rest, I restore the whole. I do not touch one corner, but renew the entire soul. True abundance is not merely having many things. It is having enough grace to keep your peace amid all things. Abundance truly begins when you no longer clutch everything in your own hands, but let me hold them in mine. Picture a child in the Father's arms. It does not fear falling because it knows the Father is carrying it. So too, my child, your faith is not grounded in everything going smoothly, but in the truth that I never let go. At times you ask, why did you let me pass through lack if you are the God of abundance? My child, if I had given too soon, your heart would think the blessing came by your own strength. I allowed lack so you would learn to seek the source, not the result. True abundance cannot coexist with pride. Only when you have known thirst do you truly know how to drink. Only when you have been emptied are you ready to be filled. The lean years were not to shame you, but to widen your soul so you could contain more. And that more is not merely material, it is peace, clarity, and freedom from anxiety. I declare, this is the time for you to change position. No longer live as a victim of circumstance, but as one commissioned by heaven. No longer say, I hope things will be okay, but say, things are being shaped for good. No longer pray, only help me survive, but use me to be a blessing. For my child, I do not merely pull you from the pit. I set you on high so you become living proof that grace is real. Abundance is not only for you, it is meant to flow through you. I fill you so that you may overflow. I bless you so that you may become a source of blessing. From now on, look back and see every painful stretch has led to this moment. Every fall has trained your posture toward humility, and every season of scarcity has taught you to cherish even the smallest grace. You have passed through the storm without losing kindness, endured loneliness without growing hard. This has qualified you to carry abundance without being spoiled by it. I do not entrust treasure to those who have never lacked, for they do not know how to keep it. I entrust it to you, for you know how to value it. Open your hands not to beg, but to receive, not to grasp, but to give. As you stretch out your hands, you will find the current of grace does not break. From survival to abundance, this is the path you are on, the path I have ordained. From fear to peace, from counting drops to welcoming the rain, from a closed heart to one thrown wide. And when you lift your eyes, you will see clear signs, dry ground, cracking for shoots, to rise long-shut windows, easing open, the cold-hearted growing tender, a small idea unfolding into a great plan. None of this is random. It is the chain reaction of my words spoken over your life. This is not merely a season of survival, it is the dawn of abundance. You are no longer a beggar, but an heir. No longer only a seeker of miracles, but a bearer of miracles. Everything that once made you shrink will bow to a faith that has grown, and as you walk, you will hear my whisper in the wind, I am the provider, the protector, the finisher. Walk on, my child, the land of abundance is prepared for you. My beloved, I know there are days when you feel as though you are standing in the fire, not a minor trial, but a heat so fierce your soul seems to melt. Familiar things disappear. Every refuge dissolves. You have asked, Lord, why me? Why now? But hear me. This fire has not come to destroy it, has come to refine. It does not come to strip you of what you have, but to reveal who you are. My fire never comes from anger. It comes from love. I burn away what would keep you from greater blessing, not to ruin you, but to save you from yourself. As gold cannot shine without the furnace, your faith cannot be pure without trials. I know fire hurts, yet in the pain you are being formed. When everything around you cracks, that is when the inside is being rebuilt. You do not see it, but amid the smoke and the roar, the new shape of your soul is being carved by my hand. I am not watching from a distance. I am in the flames with you, just as I stood with Daniel's 3 friends in the blazing furnace. They entered bound, but when the fire rose, their bonds burned away. The flame did not harm them, it only consumed the ropes. So it is with you, the blaze around you is not to devastate, but to loosen what has held you. I hear your prayer. Take the fire away. My answer is, no, I will be with you in the fire. Because what I am doing cannot be completed outside the flame. You need the fire to separate light from darkness within you, to know what to keep and what to release. Certain tempers, habits, ways of thinking, and prides cannot be persuaded by theory. They can only be changed by fire. You cannot learn humility and ease. You learn it at the edge of yourself and still choose to trust me. I do not want you to know about faith. I want you to become faith. Let the fire do its work. Do not run from the flame I have sent. Do not try to smother it with fear or argument. When you strive to escape, you hinder the refining. But when you remain in surrender, the fire turns to light. Look up rather than down at the ashes. See my hand in what seems random. Every upheaval has been permitted not because I abandon you, but because I know the outcome. I know the heat you can bear and when to lower the flame. I will never let the fire exceed your strength, but I will not quench it before the work is done. You think I am losing everything. In truth, you are being stripped of what is no longer needed. What I did not build, I allow the fire to clear, not because you failed, but because I am making something new. You held tightly to certain relationships, plans, or dreams, and I allowed them to pass. You wept, but I smiled, seeing that behind that loss a new beginning was waiting. As a grain of wheat must fall and die to sprout, so some old things must pass so the new can live. There is no increase without a kind of dissolving. The fire does not leave you bare, it makes you radiant. That light is not yours, it is my reflection in you. People will look at you and say, you are not the same. They will not grasp how you crossed storms and still stand, how you suffered and stayed gentle, how you lost and still loved. They will not know these are my traces, the mark of the one who walked with you in the flames. As Moses descended the mountain with his face shining from my glory, so will you carry that light, not loud or showy, but quiet and profound. I declare my fire as a tool, not a sentence. The world sees fire as destruction. I wield it for creation. The fire I send has order, boundaries, and purpose. It does not stray. It does not burn the wrong thing. It consumes exactly what needs consuming at the time it must be consumed, in the manner it must be consumed. And when the work is complete, the fire will withdraw, leaving pure gold within your soul. Then you will know no season was wasted, no sorrow was meaningless. Everything was part of a plan crafted to the smallest detail. I know you are tired, but look back, you have outlasted what you once believed would undo you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing. You are not who you were. The fire did not take you away. It returned you to the very nature I placed in you from the beginning. From now on, when you pray, say, Lord, teach me to endure the fire rightly. For fire is not only pain, it is an invitation to go deeper into trust, to relinquish control, to become the person I intended. And when you have been refined, everything you touch will change. You will speak, and people will feel peace. You will touch, and the weary will find healing. Your presence will carry light, for the fire alters not only your form but the very atmosphere around you. You will become warmth in winter, a beacon in the night. Others will see me through you, and that is why I allowed the flame. My beloved child, when the fire has finished its work, what remains is the new likeness I appointed for you from the foundation of the world. It is not the likeness of weakness or compromise, but of one who has fallen, yet not been crushed, lost much, yet not let go, kept silent, yet not extinguished faith. The scars you carry do not mar you. They are the map, proving I have been there. Every crack in your soul is a place where my light can enter. Every wound you have borne is evidence that your heart still knows how to love, to trust, to endure. I do not erase those marks, I consecrate them, for whatever I touch becomes holy. My child, the one who has been forged, no longer lives by fleeting emotion, but by the stability built upon faith. Once a single word of criticism could shake you, a closed door could crush your hope, but now you stand still. Not because you have grown numb, but because your roots have gone deep into me. When the wind blows, you do not fear falling. When people change, you do not lose your balance. When seasons shift, you still know who holds all things together. You have become a mirror that no longer reflects circumstances but heaven itself. Others will see in your eyes a peace they cannot explain, and that is the mark of one who has been refined. There are qualities that can only be born under pressure: endurance, gentleness, perseverance, and wisdom. They do not grow among flowers but in fire. You once asked me for strength, and I sent trials. You asked for patience, and I gave you waiting. You asked for faith, and I allowed silence. For no lesson is truly learned by words alone, it must be lived. Once you understand this, you will no longer ask, why is this happening to me, but rather, what are you teaching me through this? The question of one who is being forged. Those whom I choose to bear my glory are often those I first lead through fire. Moses lived 40 years hidden in the wilderness before I called him. Joseph sat in prison wrongly accused before becoming a ruler. David hid in caves before wearing the crown. No one rises without first being brought low. No one carries the anointing who has not also tasted solitude. For only those who have been in the lowest places can carry mercy when they stand in the highest. My child, I am training you for that very thing. The one who has been forged no longer strives to prove themselves. They have learned that silence can be strength and patience a weapon. They no longer react out of instinct, for instinct has been replaced by the intuition of the spirit. They no longer fight to win every argument, for they have understood it is enough to win in my eyes. They no longer fear what others think, for they know who called them. The refined one knows when to speak and when to be still, when to move and when to wait. Each step is no longer random, but directed. Like gold in a mold, they have taken on the shape of my intention. I know you are still in that process, and sometimes you are tired. But look, you are no longer who you were. Once when the storm came, you prayed for it to stop. Now you pray for your heart to stand firm within it. Once you feared the fire, now you understand it is part of the journey. Once you wanted everything quickly, now you know the truly precious things arrive slowly. This change did not happen by chance. It is proof that the forge has done its work. And my child, I am shaping you not to punish, but to position you for influence. The one who has been forged does not merely carry faith, they become faith. They do not just speak of hope, they embody it. When they enter a room, peace precedes their words. They do not seek attention, for they no longer need to be seen. It is precisely this humility that makes them shine. The refined soul knows that no glory is worth losing peace, and no title worth losing the soul. They walk slowly, speak little, love much, and leave a lasting fragrance behind. You will know you are being refined when the things that once frightened you lose their power, when worry no longer steals your sleep, when criticism no longer wounds your spirit, when results no longer define your worth, then your true form is emerging. I do not need you perfect, I need you real. Real with me, real with yourself, real with your calling. My child, you do not have to be strong all the time. Sometimes, simply being honest about your weakness is enough for light to enter. I do not ask you to prove you are fearless. I ask you to bring your fear to me. When I look at you, I do not see flaws, I see potential. I do not see failure, I see foundation. I do not see mistakes, I see lessons. You have allowed me to shape you through obedience, and I promise not one pain of this process will be wasted. Every tear is a stroke on the golden mold I am crafting. Every wordless prayer is a hammer upon the metal of your soul. And when this new form is complete, I will lift you up, not to display you, but to shine through you. Do not fear when I call you my forged one. It is a title of honor. It means you have been touched, shaped, tested, and kept by my hand. When people look at you, they will not just see someone who survived, they will see a soul reborn through fire. They will ask, how can you be so calm after all that? And you will answer, with a gentle smile, because that fire did not destroy it, refined. Lift your head. You are in the stage I call taking form. Do not judge the picture before it's finished. Do not let weariness make you think I am silent. I am not silent. I am engraving. Every strike is a detail. Every pause is a breath. Every amen whispered in the fire is another layer of gold. And when I see you fully reflecting my light, I will declare, it is done. Then nothing will shake you again, for you will no longer live from the outside in, but from the inside out. My child, when the fire dies down, the air is filled with a faint scent of smoke, and ash softens the ground. It is in that moment, when there is nothing left to cling to, nothing left to lose, that true peace begins to take shape. This peace is not the shallow calm the world offers, dependent on outcomes. It is the deep stillness that sprouts from the ashes of trial. It is peace that needs no reason, no validation, no proof. It is not peace because the storm has passed, but peace because you have found me in the fire. I know you once feared the ashes, feared ruin, loss. The sight of what you built burned away. But understand, my child, ashes are not an ending. They are the soil of new life. Just as seeds sprout only in ground cleared by fire, your soul blooms only after the holy flame burns away the illusion. Ashes are the sign of pure beginnings, where all that was false has been stripped, leaving only the true core of your spirit. So do not shrink from the ashes. Bow low, breathe deeply, and know that the scent of smoke is proof you have passed through and you are still alive. When the ashes are still hot, you cannot yet see what is coming. But once my wind blows through, the ashes will cool, the soil will open, and from the midst of what was burned, new shoots will emerge. You will look back and understand what once caused you pain now makes you wise. What once made you afraid now makes you strong. What once drew tears now teaches you to smile. My fire never leaves wasteland. It leaves new ground. Everything you thought was lost has only been transformed. Joy that was burned will return in a new form, deeper, steadier, no longer fragile. And when you can sit amid the ashes and still feel peace, that is the sign you have passed the test. My beloved child, peace after the ashes is not loud. It does not need to prove itself with words. It is proven in the way you face life. When others speak in anger, you choose silence. When they despair, you choose to wait. When they retaliate, you choose to forgive. This peace does not make you weak. It makes you steady. It gives you a gentle strength, the kind that does not strain, only shows up. People will sense something different in you, a soft light they cannot name. They will say, "This one has walked through the storm, yet carries no smell of smoke." And that is my glory resting upon you. I have heard the sobs in the night when you asked, "Will anything be left of me after all this?" And I answered with a silence full of love. For sometimes the reply does not come in words, but in presence. In silence, I hold you. In stillness, I rebuild your soul. I know you do not notice it at once, but the quiet you mistook for emptiness is actually holding an entire process of resurrection. In the ashes, I am breathing a new breath. In the silence, I am sowing new seeds. In loneliness, I am cultivating a deeper intimacy between you and me. Look at a mountain after a volcano erupts. The soil is burned, the trees consumed, yet soon that ground becomes more fertile than before. Fire does not kill the land, it regenerates it. So too, trials do not destroy you, they recreate you. I am making your soul rich so the seeds of your calling can bloom. You will see new life spring from places once shattered, and when it does, you will know it was worth not running from the furnace. True peace does not come because you avoided pain, but because pain no longer defines you. When you stop asking why and begin saying thank you, when you cease pleading for me to remove the burden and pray, "Give me strength to carry it rightly," this peace cannot be stolen, for it does not come from outside. It is born of knowing that though the world may change, I do not. Though people may leave, I remain. Though every door may close, I still open a door within your heart. Do you see that the one who once hurt you no longer holds power over you? Do you notice that memories which once made you tremble now only make you smile? That is the sign of true peace, not forgetfulness, but healing. You do not need to erase the past, for I have used it to illuminate your future. Look back not to regret, but to give thanks. For in the place you thought abandoned, I set a banquet. In the place you thought ruined, I planted a vineyard. And upon that very layer of ash I have written your name again, this time in light, not in tears. When you step out of the fire, do not hurry to go back to how it was. You were not made to go back. You were born to go forward. Let the old remain behind. You do not need to restore the former shape, for it no longer fits your renewed soul. You now carry a new structure, wider, deeper, truer. Walk with the unhurried gait of one who has passed through flame and knows the worth of a single breath. Let your voice carry the tone of forgiveness, and your eyes the light of understanding. Then you will be more than a survivor. You will be a bearer of peace to the world. I declare I give you my peace, not as the world gives. John 1:4-7. This is the promise for those who have come through ashes without losing heart. My peace is not temporary, nor shaken by life's weather. It is something you can carry into every season, even when winds rise and storms swell. That peace will be an invisible cloak about your soul, keeping you warm in the cold, shielding you from the gusts of doubt, and reminding you that you belong to me. And one day when you look around and see ashes turn to soil, soil cracked to make way for shoots, and shoots grown into branches, you will understand the fire did not take you. It revealed the real you. Everything I allowed the flames to remove were things that no longer belong to you. What I preserved is what endures: peace, faith, and love. Then you will fear no fire, knowing every flame rests in my hands. Take a deep breath. The air is clear now. The ground is cool and peace is returning. You have passed through and you are still standing. Lift a quiet thanksgiving. Not many words, just a soft breath. You are still here. And I, your God, say, yes, I am still here in the fire, in the ash, in the sprout, and within you. My beloved child, when I say the harvest has come, it does not mean you will reap without sowing. A true harvest is not a random reward, but the result of every tear that fell on nights you thought you were alone. The days you kept kneeling, though weary, kept praying through silence, kept believing, though nothing appeared, these were all seeds. And my child, no seed falls without my seeing it. None lies forgotten in the soil I do not water with grace. Every prayer, every act of restraint, every choice to love rather than resent, I have recorded them all in my ledger of seasons. Now I proclaim, it is time to bud and break forth. Do you hear the ground shifting? That is the sound of a miracle rising. I have watched your soul till the field for years in faithfulness, and now the earth is ready. Tiny shoots are pushing through the surface. You may not notice yet, for they are small and tender. But hear me, do not despise the small. Every great miracle begins in silence. As my son rebuked the fig tree for bearing no fruit, I desire not words alone, but the true fruit of faith. Not the faith that speaks loudly, but the faith that has been tried, tempered, and taught to wait. That faith is now sprouting, carrying a life that nothing can quench. Do not think I forget. There is no sowing without reaping. When I promise that your labor in me is not in vain, it is not comfort, only it is the law of heaven. As night follows dusk and dawn follows night, harvest follows seed time. You have sown in tears. You will reap with songs of joy. You persevered when others quit. You will see my hand where others see only chance. When you believe without demanding to understand, that is true faith. And when that faith blossoms, people will have to say, this is not luck, this is the hand of God. My child, I do not want you to live on borrowed faith, the kind that breathes only when others are blessed. I want you to possess a personal faith, the kind that needs no proof, no applause, no audience. This faith knows that if I have spoken, I will act. Though the sky withholds rain, the earth lies cracked, and people mock you still so. That is the faith I am building in you. For faith does not sprout on a stage. It grows in valleys. It is not born amid cheers, but in the silence of hardship. Only such faith has roots deep enough to keep you standing when the winds change. Have you seen the vine, my child? It is not as tall as the cedar, yet it bears sweet fruit because its roots go deep. I want your faith like that, not showy but true, not loud but faithful. True faith is not measured by long prayers, but by obedience when there is no result yet. Not by how often you shout my name, but by how you keep your heart pure when no one sees. Not by the miracles you receive, but by the faithfulness you hold amid lack. When faith reaches that maturity, it bears fruit on its own. No pushing, no forcing, for true faith knows its time. I declare, this is the season of recompense. The years the locust, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar devoured, I will restore, not in the way you imagined, but in a way only heaven can. I do not merely replace, I multiply. I do not just settle debts, I create surplus. I do not simply repair, I anoint. Look closely, my child, what was lost is returning, but in forms better, stronger, and purer. The relationship you thought ruined will become a place of healing. The opportunity you believed gone will return in a larger measure. And you who once staggered through seed time will find yourself walking through golden fields, hands reaping, mouth singing. My beloved child, but remember this when the harvest comes, what I seek is not only fruit but gratitude. Many pray for blessing, yet forget to give thanks. Many receive miracles, but never return to praise. I want you to be different. Give thanks before, during, and after the harvest, for gratitude keeps the fruit from spoiling. When pride enters, the heart fruit withers. When gratitude fills it, fruit multiplies. True faith does not end at a miracle. It continues in thanksgiving. The harvest is not the finish line, but the beginning of a new cycle. I do not want you to stop in the field to build an altar. I want you to carry the seed out and sow again. You will ask, how will I know this is truly the harvest, my child, when fear no longer holds you back, when worry no longer blinds your eyes, when you look around and see opportunity where once you saw only obstacles, then the harvest has begun. Harvest is not merely receiving outwardly, but awakening inwardly. It is when you stop saying, can it be, and start saying, it will be. When you cease counting loss and start perceiving value. When you stop complaining and start praising. When your heart shifts, your season shifts. And when you reap, do not reap alone. Share. Let the blessing not stop with you. Give help, sow again. For only those who share receive more. This is the law of the kingdom. The river stays pure because it flows. Be a channel, not a reservoir. Let blessing pass through you, not stagnate in you. When you give, you open the door to the next harvest. When you hoard, the flow halts. I never intended my blessing to stop with you. I meant it to travel farther, wider, touching more souls. Lift your head, my child. The fields are golden, not because you were lucky, but because you were faithful. Not because you were skilled, but because you refused to quit. Not because you prayed loudly, but because you believed quietly when there was nothing left to hold. I have counted every drop of sweat, every sigh, every small amen. And now I say, reap, my child, for the season has come. My child, I see those hands, hands that once trembled in lack, calloused from endless labor, clenched in fear that tomorrow would bring nothing. Now I declare, it is time for your hands to be filled. Not with fleeting wealth, but with true blessings from heaven. Not so that you might live in comfort alone, but so that you might become a distributor of grace. For my blessings are never designed to stop with one. They are made to flow like water through your palms to refresh other barren places. Do you remember the days you prayed, Lord, just give me enough? Now I tell you, I will not only give enough, I will overflow. Yet abundance is not for waste, it is for stewardship. When your hands are full, I desire your heart to remain empty, empty of ambition, pride, or illusion that you achieved this yourself. For clenched fists cannot receive more, only open hands can. I fill not for hoarding, but to make you living proof that I am the provider. Remember this principle when I give it is not merely a blessing, it is a trust. Every favor, opportunity, relationship, and word of praise you receive, all are seeds. I do not entrust blessings for your satisfaction, but for your management. The blessed who lack wisdom lose their harvest. That is why before I filled your hands, I taught you through seasons of lack to understand the worth of every drop of grace. You learned not all that glitters is gold, and not every open door is meant to be entered. That is why you can now be trusted with abundance. Now I will let your hands touch what once you only dreamed of. Doors once sealed will open, dry wells will flow, and ideas once buried in silence will come alive under my breath. Yet, remember, it is not because you deserve it, but because I am merciful. Not so you may boast, but so you may shine. And when others ask, "How did you come to this?" you will answer, "Not by me, but by him." Thus the light will not stop with you, but return upward to heaven. But heed this, my child, learn the art of keeping blessings. Many pray to be filled, but forget gratitude once they are. They forget the nights of prayer, the sensitivity of faith, the truth that blessing is never meant to sit idle. They let grace become a burden because they lose focus. You, however, will be different. When your hands are full, you will bow not to gather more, but to give thanks. When they are heavy, you will share not from fear of lack, but from trust in my supply. And that gratitude will keep your blessings whole. I will fill not only your hands with provision, but your heart with peace, your mind with wisdom, your life with divine connections. You will begin to see that the people I bring into your life are not coincidences, but heaven's strategies. Each carries a seed for your next season. Welcome them with gratitude and discern who is meant to receive from your overflow. Not all will stay, but those who remain have purpose. When your hands are full, use them to build, not to cling. Build bridges where others build walls. Build reconciliation where others sow division. Build healing where others cause wounds. You do not need power to change the world. You only need faith and willing hands. I will do the rest. Remember, the miracle is not in what you have, but in what you give. For blessings multiply not in storing, but in pouring. And when your hands grow heavy with grace, do not forget to look up. Every blessing is a stream, and its source is me. Do not let abundance drown out my voice. Even in plenty, make time to sit in stillness with me. Only through communion will blessing remain freedom, not chain. The truly rich are not those who have much, but those who remain at peace when they have much. Look at your hands now. They once trembled from weakness. Now they tremble with awe. They once clenched in fear. Now they open in faith. They were once empty. Now they overflow. Yet greater than what they hold is what they have learned to be instruments of my purpose. You will lay them on weary heads and bring comfort, extend them to the broken and bring light. You will write, touch, and labor, and all you do will bear my imprint. For your hands are not only full, they are anointed. I have said, when your hands are full, share your portion, Deuteronomy 1:5-1:1. Not because I need, but because I want you to resemble me, the one who always gives. You were made in my image. Thus only in giving will you feel whole. Do not fear running out, for I am the source. Do not fear lacking, for I am enough. Do not fear losing, for I can restore. Live as a steward, not an owner. For stewards walk by trust, while owners walk by anxiety. Choose trust, my child. And when you master the art of open hands, knowing how to receive, to hold, and to release, you will discover heaven's greatest secret: nothing is ever lost in my hands. Everything you surrender will return in new form, better, fuller, deeper. I fill you so you may pour out. You pour out so I may fill again. This cycle is eternal, for I am the God who never runs dry. So stretch out your hands, my child, for I am pouring not drops but streams, not little but much, not someday but now. And when the blessing overflows, do not fear, do not hide, do not bow in shame. Lift your eyes to heaven and say, Lord, I am ready. Then I, your God, will smile and say, my child, you have learned the secret of the harvest, that true blessing is not in full hands but in a grateful heart. My beloved child, when the fields are golden and the morning sun glimmers on every heavy grain, you will realize this is not merely harvest. It is the evidence of grace, for no seed grows by itself, no sprout rises on its own. Every growth, every bloom is the work of an unseen hand, mine. The one who awakens seeds in their sleep softens cracked earth and lays morning dew like a kiss from heaven. When you see the golden fields stretching before you, remember this is grace, not achievement, love, not effort. You have done your part sowing, tending, believing, waiting, but I am the one who made the seed live. I am the one who guarded your field from the locusts of despair and the storms of doubt. I shielded your soul when you knew it not. I raised invisible walls when the enemy tried to steal your season. There were nights you thought all was lost, but I sent angels to stand watch over your field of faith, so not one seed burned, not one tear was wasted. Therefore, when you behold this harvest, do not only rejoice, bow, and worship. Beloved, understand this grace is not only the source of beginning, it is the power that sustains the harvest. Some have reaped, but could not keep. Some were blessed, but turned their blessing into a burden. Some were lifted up, yet stumbled soon after. Not because they were evil, but because they forgot that grace does not end when favor arrives. Grace is the current that must keep flowing each day through gratitude, humility, and remembrance that every good and perfect gift is from the Father of lights. James 1:17. When your heart remains soft, blessing will stay, but when it hardens, the season fades. I do not want you to have only a season. I want you to live in cycles where after every harvest you sow again, reap again, and grow deeper in grace. Do not forget that grace is also responsibility. When I fill your barns, it is not merely so you may live in ease, but so you may become a storehouse for others in their famine. Like Joseph in Egypt, I let you endure the lean years, so you would learn to manage the years of plenty. I do not desire that you only be fed, I desire that you feed. There will be people you meet in this season, hungry not for bread but for hope, for faith, for love. Let yourself become my outstretched hand to them. Every time you give, you multiply your own harvest. Some will see your blessing and misunderstand. They will call you lucky, favored, or privileged. But do not let your heart be troubled. Let the fruit speak for you. For true blessing needs no defense, and real grace needs no argument. You do not need to prove yourself worthy. Just live worthy of what you've received. Remember, the one who has known lack will never waste. The one who has waited long will never take it lightly. Keep that heart. The heart that knows blessing is not for display, but for service. Grace in harvest is not found merely in the outcome, but in the posture. When others harvest to build houses, I want you to harvest to build altars. When others count grains to calculate, I want you to count them to give thanks. When others store up, I want you to open your storehouse. For the harvest of heaven is not measured in quantity, but in heart. Your blessing is not in how many barns you fill, but in how many lives you touch. The more you give, the more I pour. The more you release, the more I release, for grace is a river that never stops flowing. Walk barefoot through your golden field. Feel the warmth of the soil beneath you, the soil of trials, of tears, of prayers. Bend down, gather each stalk with gratitude, and whisper, Lord, every grain is a witness of my faith. Each kernel in your hand is a miracle that sprouted through doubt, endured drought, and withstood the winds of life. And I, the one who breathed life into the seed, now breathe strength into you to reap. For not everyone can harvest rightly, only those who have learned to believe through the dry season are graced to reap in the full one. Do not look only at the field, look at the heart. For what I truly long to harvest is not only the fruit around you, but the fruit within you. My harvest does not end when the barns are full, but when your heart is full of grace. Then you will no longer fear tomorrow, because you have known me as the source. You will no longer live in lack, because you have learned to give. You will no longer demand signs, because you have seen miracles in every grain. And then you will understand the ancient promise. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Psalm 1265. I now give you a new blessing, the blessing of maturity. Not the kind that makes you ecstatic, but the kind that makes you still. Not the kind that drives you to boast, but the kind that makes you look up in awe. It is the blessing of the seasoned soul who knows grace never comes to lift you above others, but to help you bow lower in love. It is the blessing of one who understands this field is not theirs. It is mine, and you are my faithful laborer. And when the evening falls upon the field, when the scent of ripe grain drifts in the wind, your heart will rest in quiet peace, no longer anxious, no longer striving. You will know that everything once lost, once painful, once waited for, was worth it. For without those things, this season would not exist. Without the drought, you would not value the rain. Without the night, you would not recognize the dawn. Without the fire, you would not have learned to trust. And without me, you would have nothing. Keep this moment in your heart. This is grace amid the golden field, the place where you are no longer merely a sower, but one who is sent. From here you will become a guide for those still in their hard season of sowing. You will tell them, "Believe, for I have seen the Lord do it." You will share, not by philosophy, but by testimony. For my child, this harvest does not end with you, it begins through you. Child, when the harvest closes, and the fragrance of grain lingers in the wind, that is when I call, not with thunder or noise, but with a gentle breeze through your soul, a stirring that is not fear, but recognition. That my child is the call, the voice that does not echo in your ears, but in your spirit. You have walked through fire, blossomed in faith, reaped in grace, and now you are ready for something deeper, a mission. For blessing is never the destination. It is only the beginning of being sent. My beloved child, I have taught you how to endure, how to believe, how to give thanks. Now I want to teach you how to give away. Everything you've learned, every wound that has healed, every miracle you've received, all were not just to make you strong, but to make you a witness of light. This world is filled with souls collapsing as you once did, hearts drying as yours once dried, dreams fading as yours once faded. I do not need you to be perfect. I need you to be faithful. For the one I send is not the most capable, but the most willing. My calling does not come to weigh you down, but to set you free. When I call, it is not to bind you in duty, but to invite you into the joy of living with purpose. I do not need you to strive to be extraordinary. I only need you to let me do extraordinary things through you. Remember, you were not chosen because you were worthy, but because you were willing. When I seek a vessel through which to pour my love, I look not for perfection, but for emptiness, and it is that emptiness in you where my grace dwells. Sometimes you think I am too small to do something great. But my child, it is precisely because you are small that I can be great within you. You do not need to be known. You need to make my love known. You do not need to stand on a stage. You need to kneel to lift others up. A mission does not begin with a declaration. It begins with compassion. When you cannot look away from pain, when another's tears stir your heart, that is the sign your mission has begun. For compassion is heaven's first language. Do not wait for a thunderous call, for I often speak in the wind. Do not look for flashing signs, for I often move through a gentle whisper. I do not need to overwhelm you, I need to remind you. Remember, you were saved not just to survive, but to serve. I wiped your tears not only so you would stop crying, but so you would know how to wipe the tears of others. I blessed you not only so you would rest, but so you would become a blessing to many. I am calling you into a new season, the season of being sent, no longer only receiving, but releasing. No longer only learning, but teaching. No longer only standing, but walking. Yet do not fear. I do not send you alone. As I promised Moses, I will be with you, so I say to you the same. I will place words in your mouth, light in your eyes, and compassion in your hands. You will not act by your own strength. Remain in me, and I will do the rest. A mission is not a burden. It is the joy of one who has found their reason to exist. When you walk in your mission, every step has direction, every trial has purpose, every meeting has meaning. You will realize that every person you encounter is a thread in the larger tapestry I am weaving. A single word you speak may pull someone back from the edge. A simple act of kindness may turn a soul around. Never underestimate the small, for I still use small things to perform great wonders. I do not require that you know everything. I only ask that you say yes. When you say yes, heaven moves. When you take one step, I open the path. When you speak comfort, my spirit gives your words power to pierce fear. When you raise your hands in prayer, I fill them with heaven's strength. When you choose love, I enlarge your heart so that you no longer love by human measure, but with my love itself. Your mission is not somewhere far away, it begins right where you stand. It starts in your home, where those you love need to see me through you. It continues in your work, where you bring peace to places filled with tension. It lives in how you treat the weak, in how you forgive, in how you endure patiently. You do not need to leave life to live your mission. You need to let your mission breathe through your life. My calling is not only work for me, but work with me. You are no longer a servant, you are a companion. I do not stand afar to command. I walk beside you to co-labor. When you speak, I speak. When you move, I move. When you pause, I pause. And when you grow weary, I will carry you. For this mission rests not on human effort, but on the power of love. Open your heart and breathe deeply. The divine wind is blowing not to sweep you away, but to lift you higher. Let it carry off your fears, your limits, your old self-doubts. Let it ignite in you a new fire, not the hunger for success, but the hunger to serve. Let it remind you, life is not about achieving, but about giving. When you begin to live for something greater than yourself, you will discover that this is true freedom. And I, your God, declare, you have been tested, refined, and filled. Now go, not to seek fame, but to sow love. Not to prove, but to reveal. Not in fear, but in my power. For I am the one who began this work in you, and I will bring it to completion. My child, the wind is rising. Stand up, this is the hour of your mission. My beloved child, when you hear me call, light begins to stir around your soul. Not the blinding kind that dazzles the eyes, but the quiet light that seeps into the hidden corners of the heart, where fear hides, where pain sleeps, where dreams lie covered in dust. That light is me awakening the part of you made to shine. You were never meant to live in hiding, but to become a lamp in the night. My child, you are not only a receiver of light, you are light. For I dwell in you, therefore my light dwells in you. I want you to carry it into the world, not with words, but through presence. The world is lost in the fog of doubt, and I am sending you not to argue, but to illuminate. You need not prove yourself right. You only need to live so others recognize the truth in you. When you speak, let your voice carry peace. When you walk, let your steps sow hope. When you touch, let your hands release healing. Light does not need to shout, it only needs to be. Be present, my child, for your presence filled with my love is the evidence of heaven on earth. My child, I have taught you to see more deeply, to look at people not through the lens of their flaws, but through the potential I have planted within them. When you look upon someone with eyes of compassion, my light will reflect through you. Others will see themselves in the way you see them and realize that they still hold worth. You may not know it, but a single glance, a gentle word, or a kind smile from you can pull a soul back from the edge of despair. For I work through small things. That my child is the mission of the bearer of light, not to dazzle, to impress, but to be tender enough to heal. Remember, light is not always welcomed. There are places where darkness has lingered so long that the sudden arrival of light feels blinding. But my child, do not dim yourself. Do not shrink back because you are misunderstood. Light does not need applause to fulfill its purpose. It only needs to be faithful. Shine, even if only for one person, even if only for one moment, even if no one notices. I do not ask you to glow before the crowds. I ask you to remain steady in your quiet corner. True light is not measured by how many see it, but by how many souls are warmed by it. My child, you will be sent into places you once avoided. I will send you to people you once feared or could not understand. I will place you amid stories that are breaking, not to judge but to love. For only those who have been healed can touch a wound without causing pain. You are not an orator, you are a witness. I do not want you to convince the world. I want you to restore it. Your light is not only in your words but in your actions, not only in temples but in the marketplace, not only on your lips but in the way you treat those who can give you nothing in return. You ask, how can I keep my light when all around is darkness? And I answer, by abiding in me. Do not try to sustain the light by your own strength, for it will fade. The light does not come from you. You are the vessel. You need not strive to shine. You need only stay near the source. Just as the moon does not produce its own light but reflects the sun's glory, so you reflect mine. Stay close, stay still, stay deep. When the world storms around you, you will still shine, for your source is not within yourself, but in the eternal light. Do not fear if some cannot understand your light. Some will mock, some will doubt, some will turn away. But there will be others who pause, who grow quiet, who find hope simply because of your presence. They are the reason you must keep going. Remember, I did not send you to persuade crowds, but to touch one soul at a time. I value a single redeemed life more than the applause of thousands. When you pull one heart back from despair, heaven rejoices more than any stage on earth. I have said, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:1-4. My child, you do not need to hide. You do not need to shrink to make others comfortable. Stand tall but with humility. Walk firm but with love. You are not called to compete, you are called to shine. Let your wisdom speak through how you live. Let your kindness echo louder than your words. When you love without expecting return, when you forgive without needing a reason, when you give without seeking recognition, that is when you shine the brightest. True light does not come from perfection, but from truth. When you dare to live honestly, to show your weakness, to say I was broken but he healed me, others will see God through you. Darkness does not fear argument, it fears truth. And truth shines most powerfully through those who have fallen yet still choose to love, who have been wounded yet still choose to trust, who have been betrayed yet still choose to remain tender. That my child is the light I love most, the light that flows from a forgiven heart. When you carry light, you also carry responsibility. Do not let your light become a fire of pride. Do not use it to expose others' flaws, but to guide them home. Do not let your light blind others. Let it lead them back to the source. When you do this, I will multiply your light. It will spread from your heart to your home, from your home to your community, from your life to the generations after you. And you will witness a miracle. One small flame from you can ignite hundreds of others without ever diminishing its glow. There will be days when your light feels faint, You will grow tired, doubtful, feeling as though your lamp is flickering out. But do not fear. When your oil runs low, I will refill it. When your heart grows cold, I will breathe warmth again. When darkness presses near, I will stand before it. For that light does not belong to you, it belongs to me, and I will not let it die. Keep your faith, keep your eyes fixed on the source, keep walking in love. No matter how deep the night, one light is enough to prove that darkness cannot win. And one day, my child, others will call you the bearer of light. Not because you were flawless, but because you did not give up. Not because you were great, but because you were steadfast. You chose to keep the flame alive, even when the winds were strong, and for that I will set you upon a hill to shine for many more. Yet remember, the brighter the flame, the greater the need for shelter. Let humility be your cover, prayer your oil, and gratitude your wick. Then your light will never fade. I see you, my child, a small lamp in a vast world, and I say, that light is enough. Enough to guide your own steps, enough to bring someone home, enough to push back the shadows. Do not underestimate your small part in my great design, for no ray of light is ever wasted. Every flame, no matter how small, contributes to the dawn. Keep burning, my child, for the dawn of the world is near, and your light is part of its coming. My beloved child, now that the light has been kindled within your soul and the heavenly wind stirs you to step forward, I say to you, go. Not in haste, but in understanding. Not because you are pushed, but because you are called. You are no longer merely one who has been comforted. You are now an instrument of comfort. No longer only one who has been healed. You now carry within you the power to heal. You are no longer a seeker of answers. You are the answer I am sending to someone crying out in the dark. I send you not as a herald of success, but as a bearer of love. The world does not need more noise. It needs more light. It does not need more arguments. It needs more compassion. I am not sending you to win debates, but to win in love. Your mission is not to tell people how great I am, but to live so that they can feel me in everything you do. When you listen to one who is hurting, I am listening with you. When you hold the hand of one who weeps, I am touching them through you. When you forgive, even when you have every reason to be angry, I am revealing my mercy through your heart. Do not think that your mission must be defined by distant journeys, grand stages, or well-known miracles. Often the truest mission is a meal shared, a message sent at the right time, a prayer whispered in the stillness of midnight. The smallest acts done with love echo louder than the longest sermons, my child. I do not measure your mission by your fame, but by your faithfulness. You do not need to be known. You need to belong to me and to the work I am doing through you. I send you into the world, but not away from me. As a branch cannot live apart from the vine, neither can you fulfill your mission apart from the source of life. Remain in me as I remain in you, and fruit will come naturally. You do not need to strive. You need to stay close. Each morning when your eyes open, say, Lord, today I am willing. That is enough, for my angels will move around you, arranging encounters, opening doors, and preparing hearts that are thirsty for what I have placed within you. At times, this mission will feel heavy. You will be misunderstood, doubted, even rejected. But remember my words, they hated me before they hated you. If they do not understand you, it is because they have not yet known me. If they mock you, it is because they have not yet seen the true light. You do not need to resist, just keep loving. Love endures longer than opposition. When you stay kind, you are winning a battle the world cannot see. For I do not measure victory by outward glory, but by souls transformed in silence. I know you worry, how can I be strong enough to go? But remember, Moses trembled, Jeremiah said he was too young, Jonah ran away, and Peter denied me. Yet I used them, not because they were perfect, but because they returned. When you feel weak, I am strong. When you feel lacking, I am sufficient. When you stop relying on your own strength, I finally have room to move. So do not look for reasons to delay. Look for faith to begin. Your mission will not be a stroll. It will be a journey. There will be valleys and mountaintops nights when you lose your sense of direction. But I will be there in every step. When you are silent, I am still speaking. When you are tired, I am still lifting. When you fall, I am still waiting. I never abandon the work of my own hands. Remember, not every road I lead you on will be easy, but every one will lead to good. I have given you power not to control, but to serve. True power is not in making others bow down, but in helping them lift their eyes. Use the strength I have placed in you to build up, to heal, to remove burdens. When you enter a room, let your presence shift the atmosphere, not because of you, but because I am with you. When you speak, let your words bring hope, not fear. When you act, let people feel my touch through your hands. Those who are sent never walk alone. When you move, my angels go before you. When you speak, my spirit guides your words. When you are silent, I speak through your stillness. Every word of love you sow becomes a sacred seed, and I will cause it to grow in its season. Some will not respond immediately, but the seed has fallen into the soil. Be patient, the harvest is mine. There will be places I send you only once, and people I send to you for only a moment, but every encounter has eternal value. Do not measure a day by how much you accomplish, but by how deeply you loved. For love is the true measure of your mission. When you love with all your heart, you have fulfilled your part. I will take care of the rest. When I send you, I do not only give you a mission, I give you a mark. Some will notice something different in your eyes, your voice, your way of living. They will not understand why they feel peace in your presence, but you will know it is I. I am within you, and you are my witness. When you go, darkness will retreat, not because you shout, but because you shine. Child, guard your heart from the glory of the world. Reputation fades, praise shifts, but true blessing endures when you remain in me. Do not let your mission turn into ambition. Do not let your calling become a competition. Your mission is not to make yourself visible, but to make me known. When people look at you and say, "There is something different about this person," let your heart smile and whisper, "It is the Lord." My beloved child, the world will try to make you forget that kingdom. It will try to convince you that strength comes from wealth, status, and fame. But my child, be awake. True strength does not come from power, but from purity. Not from striving, but from trust. When you learn to live within the order of my kingdom, you will walk lightly yet carry authority. Others may see you as quiet, but in the unseen realm you are shaking the heavens. For the power of the kingdom is not found in appearances, but in total surrender. This kingdom has its own law, the law of love. Not a shallow, shifting kind of love, but love that sacrifices, forgives, and heals. Each time you choose to love, even without being loved in return, you are expanding that kingdom. Each time you choose silence instead of retaliation, you win a battle in the spirit. And each time you choose to pray instead of judge, you bring heaven closer to earth. This kingdom does not grow by domination, but by kindness. It does not conquer land, it conquers hearts. My child, do not think you are too small to influence the world. When you live true to your divine identity, you are altering the course of humanity in ways you cannot yet see. One person who carries the kingdom within can illuminate an entire city. One faithful prayer can shift the destiny of a generation. Remember Daniel, just one man yet, because he knelt an empire acknowledged the power of the living God. In the same way, when you walk in truth and love, you are bringing heaven into the place where you live, work, and breathe. My kingdom is not only for the future, it is alive in the present. It is not merely where you will go, but what you are becoming. When your spirit is renewed, your thoughts purified, and your heart awakened, you are allowing the kingdom to take full residence within you. That is the true rebirth, not of flesh, but of spirit. Not through ritual, but through realization. You and I are no longer distant. Once you understand this, fear dissolves, and anxiety retreats, for you know you are living under the covering of an unshakable kingdom. In that kingdom, everything is reversed. The weak are made strong, the last become first. The forgotten are honored, and the humble are lifted up. For my glory does not follow the logic of the world. The world praises the victorious, but I raise up the loving. The world chases grandeur, but I bless the pure in heart. Live differently, my child. Let your life be a reflection of a higher order, the divine order of heaven. The kingdom within you is where peace reigns even when storms rage outside. It is where joy blossoms even as tears fall. It is where hope lives even when every door seems closed. When you live from the inside out, the world loses its grip on you. For I dwell in you and you in me. No enemy can touch what I have sealed. No hardship can destroy what I have built. That kingdom is an eternal fortress within your spirit, a place you can always return to when the world wears you down. Now I say to you, you do not only bear my image, you carry my kingdom. Therefore live in a way worthy of that truth. Let your words carry grace, your eyes carry life, and your actions carry hope. When you live like this, you are giving the world a map that leads to me. And when one soul sees me through you, my child, the kingdom within you has expanded another measure. Take a deep breath, let my breath fill your lungs, and whisper, Lord, let your kingdom live in me. When you say it, heaven responds. When you believe it, the world begins to shift. And when you live it, you become the evidence that the kingdom of God is not a myth, but a reality within you here and now. My child, when my kingdom awakens within your soul, the first thing you will feel is not sound, but stillness, a strange stillness the world cannot comprehend. For in that stillness, my power begins to move. Not a noisy power, but a sacred power that renews your spirit from the inside out. The very moment you pause, you begin to hear my voice clearly. In the moment you do nothing, I am doing everything. That is the paradox of divine presence. When you learn to listen, creation begins to move. My presence does not come through effort, but through surrender. It cannot be bought by deeds, but is opened through genuine longing. When you say, Lord, I desire nothing but you, the heavens open. When you choose to remain in me, even when no miracle appears, you are touching the deepest foundation of the kingdom. For I am not just the giver of blessings, I am the blessing. I am not only what you desire, I am what you need. And when you realize this, you step into the depth of true communion. There are many who seek my power as though it were treasure, yet they forget that the true treasure is me. Power without presence creates passing miracles, but presence gives eternal life. When you sit in stillness and know that I am there, barriers crumble, worries fade. The burdens you carried grow light as air, for you are no longer bearing them alone. I am carrying them with you. My child, I am not far. I am in your breath, in your heartbeat, in every ray of morning light you see. My presence can accomplish what 1,000 sermons cannot. One moment in me can heal wounds you have carried for a lifetime. One encounter with me can reroute your destiny entirely. For I do not only touch the surface, I reach the depths, the place where you hide your tears, where pain still smolders, where memories still ache. And with a single touch, everything changes. No chain is stronger than grace, no darkness deeper than my light, no past greater than the future I have prepared for you. You do not need to prove yourself, to strive, or to make yourself worthy. In me you are loved, forgiven, and at rest. You do not need to come closer by steps, only by opening your heart. For I am not waiting for you to be perfect, I am waiting for you to be sincere. Every time you breathe out, a quiet Lord Heaven leans to listen. Every tear you shed out of longing for me is kept by angels as a jewel. Every time you yearn to be near me, I am already near you. My beloved child, the divine presence does not make you fragile, it makes you strong. It does not weaken your heart, it makes you bold in love. When you dwell in me, you can face any storm without fear, for the storm cannot reach where I am. Others may see you calm in adversity and wonder why, but you know it is because I live within you. When others see the end, you see the beginning. When they see despair, you see hope. For my presence not only changes how you feel, it transforms how you see the world itself. Child, many have asked, how can I know that you are here? And I say, by peace. Peace does not come from the absence of pain, but from the awareness that I still reign in the midst of pain. When your heart is no longer led by circumstances but anchored in my love, that is the sign that you are in my presence. This peace cannot be stolen, bought, or imitated. It runs so deep that even when tears fall, you still feel safe, for in me, every loss is turned into meaning. Learn to live aware of my presence, not only when you pray, but in every small moment of your day. When you wash the dishes, when you work, when you walk among crowds, remember that I am there. When you speak words of love, I smile. When you endure quietly, without complaint, I take notice. When you choose forgiveness, instead of retaliation, I draw near. My presence is not confined to temples. It longs to dwell in every heartbeat of your daily life. Let each breath, each task, each step become a silent act of worship. When you truly live in my presence, your prayers will change. You will speak less, for you will realize I understand even what you cannot say. You will no longer demand signs, for you will know that even my silence is an answer. You will no longer rush, for you will understand that my timing is always perfect. That is true freedom. Freedom from worry, from doubt, from the need to control. When you are in me, you no longer need to steer the ship. You only need to trust that you are in my boat and the sea obeys my will. Where my presence is, healing flows. No ritual, no formality is required, only a longing heart. When you sing a simple song in the night, I come. When you whisper through tears, I am there. When you are too weary to speak and can only breathe my name, that breath itself becomes a prayer heard by heaven. I do not seek eloquence. I seek sincerity. I do not need long prayers. I desire an honest sigh. For I am your Father, and a father does not ask his child to be perfect only to draw near. There will be times when I seem silent, not because I am absent, but because I am testing whether you can still trust when you cannot hear, still love when you cannot see, still remain when you do not feel. This is the trial of mature love. For true faith does not depend on emotion but on knowing. When you stay faithful in the quiet, you are becoming more like me, patient, steadfast, deep. Do not fear that silence, my child. It is not distance. It is the evidence of faith. The divine presence does not only surround you, it flows through you. When you carry it, you bring the fragrance of heaven wherever you go. Others will sense something different without knowing why it is, because you have become a living temple. Not a temple made of stone, but of spirit, not illuminated by lamps, but by love. And when you live this way, I am glorified not only through your words, but through your very life. Guard this flame, the flame of my presence, as your most precious treasure. Do not let worries extinguish it. Do not let routine dull it. Do not let fear distance you. Each day take even a single honest moment to whisper, Lord, I need you, and I will rush in again, for I have never left. It is only when your heart turns away that you feel I am gone. But the moment you turn back, I am there like the sun that never ceases to shine, though clouds may veil it for a time. My beloved, this is true strength, not power but presence, not conquest but companionship, not control but love. Whoever has me within is stronger than 1,000 armies. Whoever abides in me need not fear the longest night. Whoever keeps the divine presence has already found the key to every victory. For where I am, nothing is lacking, and when I dwell within you, nothing is impossible. Child, now that my voice has spoken through fire, through water, through wind, and through the long nights of silence, I want you to know the deepest truth. You are not merely one I have saved, You are my dwelling place. You are not only covered by the light, you are that living light, breathing and shining. I no longer dwell in temples of stone or in cold doctrines. I dwell in hearts that still tremble with love, in souls that can grow quiet enough to listen, and where I dwell, there you are. Scripture declares, "Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you?" 1 Corinthians 6:1-9. Yet for so long you have read these words without truly believing they were meant for you. You thought I chose only the holy, the extraordinary, the prophets on mountaintops. But no, my child, I choose the trembling who still step forward, the broken who still seek peace, the weary hands that still reach to help another. I chose you not because you are flawless, but because you are sincere, and it is your honesty that allows me to dwell within you without anything needing to be hidden. The temple I am building in you is not made of bricks, but of memories. Each time you forgive, a stone is set. Each time you love, a pillar is raised. Each time you believe in the dark, the dome is completed. And I, the eternal architect, work quietly to finish this masterpiece that bears your name. There will be times you see only cracks, ruins, and walls, but my child, that is not failure, that is foundation. I am clearing the ground to build something that cannot be shaken. My beloved child, I know there are rooms within your soul that you have never allowed anyone to enter, places where old sins hide, where memories of failure lie buried, where broken dreams still sleep. But I am not afraid of your shadows. I come with the lamp of mercy, and each time you dare to open the door, that light will drive away everything that once made you tremble. Do not be ashamed, my child, for temples are not built out of perfection but out of restoration. It is precisely where you once fell that I will place an altar. It is from the place where you once wept that the river of grace will flow, bringing healing to others through what I have redeemed in you. When you begin to understand that you are the dwelling place of my presence, you will live differently. You will speak more gently, knowing every word is a fragrance of worship. You will look upon others with greater tenderness, realizing every soul is another temple of mine. You will no longer see yourself as a victim of life, but as one who carries life into it. This is true kingship, not the rule of swords and crowns, but the reign of compassion. When you love, I am exalted. When you forgive, my throne is strengthened. When you are still in the storm, I reign in your peace. Yet this temple must be guarded through awareness. Do not let the weeds of resentment grow in the courtyard of your heart. Do not let the moss of fear cling to the walls of your faith. Each morning sweep the temple floor with gratitude. Each evening light the incense of prayer. Do not think I desire elaborate rituals. I only desire a heart that returns. Even a whisper of "Thank you, Lord," moves heaven. Even one tear of sincerity makes me bend down to wipe it away. At times your temple will tremble when trials come, when doubt floods in. But fear not, my child. Every quake only reveals what is truly built on rock. The temple I have constructed will not collapse. The walls I have upheld will not crack. Remember what I told Joshua. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. When you stand amid ruins, I stand within you, steadier than mountains. When you fall silent, unsure what to pray, my spirit intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. You are never alone in guarding this temple. An army of angels stands watch around it. Never forget, the temple is not only where I dwell, but where my light radiates. One day people will come to you without knowing why. They will say, "When I'm near you, I feel peace." And you will understand it is not your strength but the light of the temple shining. That light does not glare, it warms. It does not boast, it comforts. You do not need to shout about me, just live so that others can see me through you. For true love needs no explanation. It simply gives off its scent. When two living temples meet, When two souls both carry my presence, the heavens tremble with joy. That unity shines brighter than any human-made light. When you love others through me, when you choose harmony over division, you are building my holy city. Remember, I never called you to build a religion, but to build relationships of love. My kingdom expands not through dominance, but through kindness. And you, my child, are a living stone in that kingdom. There may be times you ask, Lord, am I good enough to hold you within me? And I answer, it is I who make you good. No one is pure enough for me to enter until I enter and make them pure. Do not strive to be worthy. Let me make you worthy. Do not try to prove yourself. Let me reveal myself through your life. For the temple cannot light its own lamp. It is my flame that makes it shine. And that flame does not die no matter how many times you fall. It only waits for you to brush away the ashes so it can burn brighter still. I want you to live as a singing temple, not singing with your lips but with your life. When you help without seeking praise, a melody rises. When you endure with patience in pain, a drumbeat resounds. When you believe through the fog, a string vibrates in heaven's harmony. And all of heaven plays in tune with your soul, for your life is the song I am composing. The living temple is not silent, it resounds. It resounds through actions, through presence, through every small act of love. One day you will look back and see that what once caused you pain has become the jewels in your temple walls. You will understand why I allowed the fire to refine the gold within you. You will see why I allowed the wind to fan your flame higher, and you will realize nothing in your journey was wasted. Every tear, every trial, every breaking was part of my craftsmanship. You were never destined for ruin, you were destined to shine. From now on, live as one who carries the King's throne within. Do not speak of me as distant. Speak as to a friend who dwells with you. Do not pray as an outsider. Speak as family. I am not far away. I am here in every breath, in every heartbeat. When you walk, I walk. When you love, I love. When you forgive, I reign. Live in that awareness, for that is true freedom, to know that I am in you and you are in me. And one day when the living temple within you joins with all others, the whole earth will blaze with glory. Then there will be no need for a lamp or sun, for my presence itself will be the light. My child, guard the flame within you until that day, the day when you will not only carry me in your heart, but behold me with your eyes. On that day, the living temple will be complete. The song will end and you will hear my voice saying, "Well done, my faithful one. Enter into the joy of your Lord." Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may continue receiving living words, building steadfast faith, and walking daily in the boundless love of Christ. Amen.